Secretary for the Trump campaign, Hogan Gidley. We're also joined by New York Congressional candidate George Santos. George, big day for you today. 7:15 a.m. right now. What's the rest of the day look like as you try to win this primary?
Well, so today, Rob, thanks for having me again. I'll find out who my opponent is on the Democrat side as I'm running unopposed as the GOP frontrunner. We're going to be looking forward to seeing who is the Democrat that I'm going to beat on November 8th and send home crying while we take back the House. Washington, D.C.
Yeah, quickly, George, what's important to voters in New York? We're talking about crime. We've got immigrants or migrants who've come over on buses. They're staying at hotels. Talk to us about what are people saying to you? What do they need to see change here in New York?
It's the same, Allison. It's crime. It's inflation. It's taxes. Look, we have a congressman who said that his whole slogan was no salt, no deal, and he caved to pass this $800 billion bill that adds to inflation. We need to send people who are going to keep their word. New Yorkers in my district are hurting on taxes, on salt. The salt tax is a big issue for New Yorkers. We have a major issue with crime in my district. We have a major issue with education in my district where parents, after 2020, when parents got a sneak peek into what happens in the classroom, Long Island has had an uproar in involvement of parents and groups set up all across the district and all across Long Island. And look, I'll say this one thing. These are not domestic terrorists. These are concerned parents who want a say and an input in what their kids are being taught in school. That's what's on the ballot. It's not all this other social nonsense that Democrats want to put on the ballot. Accountability is on the ballot on November 8th, and I can't wait to find out who my opponent's going to be at the end.
Yeah, absolutely. The AP had an interesting article yesterday saying that maybe the Democratic races today in Florida and in New York in particular might be a little bit more interesting than some of the Republican races. Nan, we saw Liz Cheney. She lost a week ago, largely because she was concerned with the 2020 election and January 6th and not the good people of Wyoming. What happens today in New York? You've got two members of Congress that you served with, Nan, Carolyn Maloney and Jerry Nadler, both because of redistricting. They're running for the same seat in Congress today. Somebody's going to lose that race. Who is it?
Probably Carolyn Maloney, because this is basically New York Times territory, and they endorsed Jerry Nadler. Senator Schumer, who is the Democrat power broker in New York, endorsed Jerry Nadler. It's been an exceedingly nasty primary, but it sounds as though Nadler will prevail. He is younger than Carolyn Maloney, so by a year, so it'll be a victory for the youth vote.
75 and 76, I think, Nan.
Yeah.
Hogan, let's go to Florida because the big race is there. Obviously, we're watching.
Let's, please.
Yes, let's all go to Florida.
Yeah, let's
George, you too.
From December into May, I'm there.
We'll bring you back, George, for the general election, but you're coming with us.
That's right.
All right.
Yeah, so we've got Marco Rubio, we've got Matt Gaetz, obviously the governor. Talk to us. What are you looking for there? So interesting races to follow for sure.
Yeah, I think so. From what I understand, we're going to see some status quo here. We're going to hold par. Most of these folks are going to move on into a primary season. And I think as our esteemed panelist who is running for Congress in New York stated so eloquently, the issues that the people of New York face are the same issues the people of Florida face, the ones they're concerned about, the same ones that the rest of the country is worried about, whether you're in Mississippi or Massachusetts or Montana. It's about inflation. It's about high prices for gas and for groceries. It's about crime. It's about people pouring across our southern border, creating massive strains on our school systems, on our first responders, on our healthcare system. That's what people care about. The folks in Florida are no different. Now, the people of Florida are in a much better place right now with taxes and other things than are the people of New York. But I still think the same issues apply because when Joe Biden puts into place policies that really hurt Americans and their families, it does have a ripple effect. And I think if you're running for Congress, as is our panelist here, as if you're running for the Senate, as is TW out in Oklahoma, it is wise to tether your opponents in a general election to Joe Biden. Do not let them create distance and say, no, I'm not for Joe Biden on this or this. No, you're causing all of the problems we're facing today because you're going to be a rubber stamp for the president of the United States who has put things into law
Good
that have
points.
really hurt
Yeah.
the American
Yeah,
people.
smart.
And we'll have all the results for you tomorrow here on Wake Up America. Matt Gaetz, by the way, facing a serious primary challenge in Pensacola, up in the Panhandle. Mark Lombardo, former Marine, really popular in that area. It's going to be interesting to see if Matt Gaetz, the firebrand, can hold on to his seat. Looks like it's going to be Marco Rubio versus Val Demings, Congresswoman, former police officer from Orlando. George, so we had your candidate hat on a moment ago. I'd like you to put on the political analyst hat right now, if you would, for me. Roe v. Wade, a lot of people say, is going to change the general election in November. I'm wondering if you think that moderates and independents suddenly become single-issue voters and forget about things like what Hogan just mentioned, the border, inflation, the economy, and become single-issue voters because of Roe v. Wade.
I can't imagine in a place in this country today where people are going to put abortion over their livelihoods, their bottom line, right? If we look at what's going on, you don't think of abortion every single day of your life, but you think about paying your bills, keeping a roof over your head, feeding your kids. Those are concerns that hit every single parent, every single American every day. These social issues are nothing but a distraction. The Dobbs decision gives it back to the 10th Amendment. That is a states' rights. That is a constitutional right. In the state of New York, for example, nothing has changed. So the way I look at it is I do not believe that it changes on my polling and all of our internal pollings. Nothing has showed there's not been any changes on national polling that indicate that Americans are going to forget the hurt that they have in their wallets with the Joe Biden administration and Democrats and one-party control in Washington, D.C.
George, I'd say good luck today, but you are not going to need it. You are running unopposed. You will be there on the ballot in November. Today, still an exciting day, all about voter turnout with these off-cycle primaries. Hogan Gidley, Nan Hayworth, we'll do it again top of the hour. George Santos, thank you. Appreciate it. Good to see you.
Thank you.